Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. Hey, this is Kevin saying happy Thanksgiving from Budapest. I'm in Budapest, Hungary this week. And as you guys have seen, when we did this previous program from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, this time I'm in Budapest. That was just a few weeks ago, and it's pretty exciting. I want to give you an update about what's happening out here. It's been a little chaotic for those of you all that are actually watching live, and then some of you know that getting over here. I appreciate the people who have made it possible for me to be here today. I'll tell you more about that in a few slides. So we're here at the Venture Outfitter. Venture Outfitter Weekly, for those who don't know, is a program that we try to do every Thursday. There's been a few interruptions over the last year and a half, but not many. And so today took a little bit getting on the net in time and all that sort of stuff. And obviously a little bit different conditions than before. But what we're going to do is we're going to hear from some of our entrepreneurs that we met here in Budapest and hear about the businesses that are there, and then ask other questions and interaction back and forth. I don't know if we're actually getting to spool out to Facebook. Jello, if you still have control and we haven't done that, go ahead and do that as well. We got a lot of people from in feedback last week from the work that we did we had 15 countries represented last week for Global Entrepreneurship Week. I know this week is different because we messaged this as Thanksgiving and everyone's used to Americans taking Thanksgiving off. Well, I'm a Texan, which is the type of American, but I don't know, we're working whatever all the time. For those of you all that are actually taking advantage of our Venture Outfitter network, the Venture Outfitter community stage is available publicly. And we're going to be spooling even more stuff to LinkedIn as well as to Facebook, many different interactions like that. Our network is set up so that we can get you more access. And because there's costs associated with employees that I have that are get you access to all these different programs and things like that, there is a charge about that. Of course, everyone knows that I'd love to make that available for entrepreneurs around the world for free, but there's not, but it's $99 a month if you're in the United States. We do have stage pricing for other parts of the world. If you're in a significantly different environment, you can take advantage of that. You just have to reach out and let us know. But take advantage of the Venture Outfitter Network, and more details coming soon. We're going to start publicizing in the new year much more about what the program is. And you're going to see we'll have a different system that we're doing this on top of to make it easier on us. So here I am in Budapest, Hungary. The place is absolutely beautiful, and I've really enjoyed the cultural interactions that I've had as well. Now, over the last few days, I've really been mainly working with entrepreneurs and a couple of the corporations, entrepreneurs through a startup incubator called BME, which is essentially BME is the university, or it's called BME Z10. BME Z10 is essentially BME is essentially a university. It's the top technical university in Budapest, and I think in Hungary, it's considered kind of the MIT of Hungary. And so, real excited to be here. Some of the different pictures you can kind of see. This is right out the front door of the hotel I'm staying at. This beautiful bridge and the Danube River in different parts of the country. And so, real excited to be here. Decided to spend a good portion of my holiday here this week just to take advantage of some of the programs that were happening behind the scenes and the timing of stuff that's happening. I'm going to be back into the general region of Central Europe in January again with a program that we're launching in the Czech Republic. And so part of what we're building up is a stronger base of bridges into Central Europe to access some of the technologies here and the brilliance here. And we're going to hear from at least a couple of the entrepreneurs that I met along the way today, and you'll hear about their businesses in just a little bit. But following are a few pictures of the delegation or the group of entrepreneurs at the top that you see. At the lower left, what you're seeing is we got to take a tour of an organization called Tungstrom, which is the light division that formerly used to be part of GE, where we were looking at some of their their vertical farming activities. And we've had Dr. Joe Coelho on in the past talking about vertical farming. Part of what is really interesting about the vertical farming, if you really, if you believe in this this idea that we're taking on shared prosperity and making shared prosperity for the world, people got to eat. And one of the ways of seeing that there's more food source available and more stable food source that is not stuck in terms of some of the weather concerns and stuff like that. What they're leading, what this organization Tungstrom is doing with some of their lighting technology and vertical farming is pretty amazing. We'll hear more about that in a future time. Tungstrom is actually a multi-billion-dollar company based here, and we'll hear more about that in the coming future. But part of what I wanted to make sure I mentioned is this is the type of technology that we're getting to access here. There's a lot of brilliance and deep tech in Hungary, and part of the idea is to help bring that forward and make it more accessible. In fact, since I see some of my colleagues from Mexico here, part of what we're already taking advantage of, I've already introduced one of the companies we're going to hear from today into the conversation into Mexico industry. We'll talk more about that in a few slides, but want to make sure I bring it up. Pretty interesting stuff. So Thanksgiving, it is Thanksgiving. What is Thanksgiving? To someone who might not be from the United States, more generally, I like to talk about Thanksgiving, even if it's a holiday in the United States, and it's somewhat controversial of a holiday just because of a lot of things. But it's sparing you the details about that conversation in the United States. Still, there's something that I think that's really important at the base of this. And the idea is, and I think this is a really critical thing for entrepreneurs, gratitude. The whole idea behind sharing gratitude for what you have and what we have. I think too many of us as entrepreneurs that are so caught up in our mission. Being an entrepreneur is much more difficult. It's much more difficult than just being in business, because you really don't have a good net to protect you, right? You're working alone. You're doing everything you can to build your business. And having tools like the Gratitude Journal that we're talking about here, where you can actually remember, what are you thankful for? So even if you're not American, even if you're not celebrating Thanksgiving today, I want to make sure I mention that. One of the other distinctions that a coach that I work with just recently said was appreciation and gratitude. Sometimes let's even go beyond gratitude. Gratitude is something you feel, but appreciation is something you do on top of that feeling, is appreciating what you have. And so I don't know. A lot of times I think the number one thing I know about entrepreneurship is, given the difficulties and the scar tissue I have, I like to joke that part of what I'm here to do is to donate some of my scar tissue to you, so you don't have to get as much as I have as an entrepreneur over the last 20 something years, 27 years of being an entrepreneur. But on the other side, I want to make sure that we talk more in depth about this in the future. We'll have a couple of coaches come on and talk about this, because I know that this is something that entrepreneurs struggle with, right? It's something that we struggle with. We forget, we have bad days. We have to actually actively work to get our way out of that. So with that, that's my commercial about Thanksgiving, but more generally in talking to the entrepreneurs around the world to be aware of that. All right, well, this slide is the slide to remind me that I want to go ahead and have a couple of people step in, and we are going to hear from a couple of entrepreneurs that I just met here in Hungary, who are going to share about their ventures. And I taught them a little bit about the elevator pitch process. I would like to have other entrepreneurs that have gone through our formal where you've actually had feedback over and over and over and over and over and over about our pitch process. I want to make sure that you take advantage of giving some feedback. So please listen from that standpoint if you're in the studio audience. And I know today we have a really small group, but it's still great to always have feedback as well. And we have the time for it. So, and partially the other thing too is the recording and the stuff that's going out to Facebook and LinkedIn. Part of the thing that we want to do with that is just continue to bring other people into the conversation, both live right here in the Zoom call that I can see, and then the people that are outside of that. With that, I want to introduce you to Peter. I'm going to mispronounce your last name, Peter, because I didn't practice on it the other night. After we did a full day's worth of training, Peter forced me to go out to have drinks with him and his team. one of the PhDs in his team is also a guitarist in a band, which is very Austin. And so we got to hang out, watch some rock and roll that I'll share at some other point because I recorded some of it, and got to hear from him. So Peter, you know what? Go ahead and give us your pitch. You are on mute, sir. So you got to come off of mute. Otherwise, all we do is we see your hands.
Okay, I was trying to exchange it with my gestures. Didn't work.
Welcome to the program, and really impressed with the two PhDs in your company that have their own band as well. It's very Austin. You're going to fit right in as we plug you into the Austin ecosystem. Yeah, go right ahead, Peter.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, actually, we make miracles. We make production machines sing. So we make them sing their songs about how they are doing. So SME manufacturers can understand that, and they can react on that and have them fixed. So our technology is really something like fast as rock and roll, is simple as a punk song, and it's cheap as a blues. So this is what we do.
Well, so he's not telling you everything. The thing I want to make sure I push on a little bit is Peter's got technology to help manufacturing machines, like in the manufacturing floor, become smarter. Talk a little. I'm going to go ahead and push it. Go ahead and. I mean, I like the style, but I want to hear more. Give the pitch that you did the other day on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah. Actually, what we do with a more traditional way, we have small to mid-sized manufacturers to become more productive and competitive to the big ones. And actually, they are suffering from not being able to do the same and use the same technologies, because those are developed for bigger corporations and expensive, slow, and difficult. So we specialize our solutions for them to be really fast, really affordable, and really simple. So this is what we do. We have them become more competitive, more productive, and more profitable with our IoT and machine learning driven technology.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that. I won't give you too hard of a time, but if anyone has feedback they want to share really quick, that's gone through our process before, Daniel or Enrique, I see you guys are there. I'm not sure, y'all might just be lurking. I'm just wondering, I know you all have gone through the process. Anything you'd like to share feedback wise?
Not me. I had to step out. Sorry.
No worries. Enrique, by the way, Peter, Enrique is the gentleman that I mentioned. It mentions it's one of our business partners on the organization that is building the relationship with the state that hasn't been announced yet. Let me do this. Also, we're going to actually have we have a venture capitalist that's stepping in from over here, who's originally from Austin. We'll get him to step in. This is Zoltan Pap, who is also he's Hungarian American.
Yeah, that's right.
And
yeah.
Hungarian American. I originally met in Austin. We have a mutual friend. Actually, it was one of his business partners that passed away. And that we didn't know each other really well, that we got to know after Koto Covelli had passed away. But so in this celebration, we'll be raising a drink later on tonight. But I'll get him to watch. Peter, I'm going to actually put you back on the spot, because I got a money guy right here that needs to know about your ventures. So one more time on the spot, give your pitch. And
which one?
I think the slightly more formal, but with the music behind it is good, but the slightly more formal.
Okay, right. So yeah, actually we make manufacturing machines sing. We use this allegory to represent what is the easiness of the solution, what we provide to small to mid-sized manufacturers to become more profitable and more productive and efficient. And for that, we digitize their machines so they can speak or sing about their problems, so they can react on that. And as current solutions that are available on the market was rather developed for corporations, bigger corporations, these guys cannot afford it, and it's too difficult for them. So we made our solution really simple as a punk song and fast as a rock and roll. or cheap as a blues, we can say. So this is what we do.
Beautiful. Any quick feedback you'd like to give?
No, I know your company, Peter.
Yeah,
It's funny. Y'all probably already know each.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by the number of times I brought up his name saying, yeah, we're going to have Thanksgiving dinner together. And everyone's like, everyone knows him. I'm like, crap. Well, of
Yeah.
course, everyone knows.
No, I think it's, I think the area that you're working in, Peter, is really a good area, a market that is larger, appears to be niche, but it's actually very large. And a lot of companies don't have the access to be able to do that in-house. So there's an enormous opportunity for it. I think how it gets pitched is the trick of it, because it's the pitch is complex to follow, and it's easy to get lost in the pitch in in about the 6th minute. But I'd love to help you with it too. We can catch up and
absolutely. Would appreciate that. Yeah, would appreciate that. Yeah.
That's perfect. Well, and so the only other feedback that I think that I would give really quick on top of Zoltan is it's not clear. It's not clear that you already have 50 customers. You already deployed in 50 customers. One of the sexiest things about your company is it's not a concept. You got 2 PhDs on the team. That's all great and all that stuff, but you got traction. And Money Guys, the sweet song to Money Guys is traction, 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 traction.
Absolutely.
Even before you touch,
that's
even before you try to touch his checkbook, you've got 50 companies you deployed in. Say a little bit more about that, because I want to hear. I want.
Yeah, and one other thing too, Kevin. I think that the pitch deck and the pitch itself, and the company too. Besides the founder having the passion, which you have, it has to have a pop and a wow immediately. And then it has to grab the attention. That pop and a wow, both of them. They're 2 different things. And then and then things like traction are important because adoption hurdles are critical to understand. And if I have to take the time, as a venture capitalist, to assess what the market and adoption hurdles are, you lost me. But if you can show me the way to that you're dealing with that and addressing it, or even achieving the breakthrough through those hurdles, then I'm still paying attention.
That's interesting. I like the articulation, the market and the adoption hurdles. And in a previous version of his pitch on Tuesday, he actually said that how easy it is to install, right? Which is one of the things that I noticed that you took out this time. And it's not right or wrong, right? In a little bit, I'm gonna make fun of Beto, one of our other entrepreneurs, as well as one of the guys who's involved at BME. I realized I forgot to do that video, and we'll do it in a second, that Jello put together from some of the work I did with Beto earlier this week or earlier today. One of the things to make sure you do is just practice that, so you can get to that pop that he's actually talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Good. Any other feedback?
I think get in touch with you, Zoltan, if you can help me, with better phrasing what we are good at. And it's you said it, I fully agree with you. It's so niche area of expertise that we are working on the market. That's kind of difficult to get the message through to investors. So, and we need a lot of help in that. Really,
so let me suggest, before you spend his time, take advantage of that Slack channel that Jello invited you into. Take advantage of the Slack channel, record it. You can download Loom for free, right? And you can actually download Loom, do a pitch, and get feedback from your colleagues, and then Jello will also invite you into the more general venture outfitter channel that usually we have. Like I said, last week we had 15 countries that presented. Tonight the active studio audience is small because it's Thanksgiving and we didn't push a lot. But the thing I want to make sure is that you get a chance to do is iterate it in front of all these other entrepreneurs. It's just like in the martial arts practice that I talked about the other day. Been studying Aikido 24 years. A lot of times you don't learn Aikido from the master. You learn it from just getting beat up on by your colleagues. And then you step in front of the guy that's got the checkbook. Sorry to put you on the spot. But that way you can take advantage of that, and that's available to you right now, right?
joining the channel, but we get in touch with Jello to help me out.
You know, Jello will put you on to that. Like right now, he'll know that I'm making sure that you're on it. So if he doesn't have your number, make sure you reach out to him, and he'll put you on to there's a WhatsApp channel as well as a Slack channel, and you should be in both. You should be in both. The other program we talked about, we'll follow up outside of the program. So cool. Thank you. Kick butt, take. And I got a bunch of Mexican manufacturing companies in several different manufacturing clusters across Mexico that want to meet you. And Enrique, he can't tell you all the details, but he can tell you a little bit about that. Enrique, make it real without disclosing any of the non-disclosure stuff. Make it real for Peter, because I think this is the story that I'm trying to tell about, a Texan from Austin, Texas is in Budapest. But, one of his business partners is in Querétaro, Mexico, and talks on a daily basis to, I don't know how many manufacturers you talk to today, just without giving any way, I don't think we can disclose the details of the document that just got signed, but maybe there's something public you just spoke at that we can disclose because it was public.
Well, not sure what needs to be not disclosed. I'm going to say, I see you having wine. It's 10 a.m. here in Querétaro. I just want to make sure that you are drinking wine past 6 p.m. in Budapest.
Hungarian wine. One of the things that you might notice about some of the places where techranch does business. Let's see, Adelaide, Australia, in the McLaren Vale, Hungary, and where they invented wine, right?
All right.
Now Mexico, tenemos tequila. We have tequila.
All right. Well,
There.
anyway,
yeah, go right ahead. Sorry to even say.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Actually, I was the one that brought it up. And well, regarding the Ventures Connections initiative, I mean, it's trying to link manufacturers in both sides of the border, Peter, which is U.S. manufacturers with Mexican suppliers. So we get in touch with a lot of Mexican suppliers. And regarding your pitch, I'm probably going to link the two ideas. I wasn't here when you started talking, so I don't know if that was before I actually got here, but I didn't know what the company was about. So I don't know what you guys are doing. So if I don't have any idea of what you guys are doing, I probably can't recommend you with manufacturers in Mexico. So that would be probably just my quick feedback on it. And given that, I would love to know what you guys are doing. Is it a manufacturing gadget that goes inside of a manufacturing production line, or what is it about?
Actually, what we do is something that, we have these manufacturers become more effective by giving them data. To react. Yeah. So normally they are losing a lot of capacity and by that a lot of money by unexpected machine downtimes and speed losses and that sort of stuff. And without data, they cannot react. And what we have is just a small sensor that you can stick on the machine in just a minute. So you don't have to stop your machine for a while. So the algorithms behind will be set in a day. So, and the results, efficiency improvement results, be tangible within weeks. So this is what we provide them. And we are concentrating on small to mid-sized manufacturers. So we do not overcomplicate the outcome. So what they get is a simple indication on a TV screen, which of their machines are operating, which is stopped and needs to be fixed, and what is the reason for that. And we of course collect this information and give them information for the next day meeting. Okay, how did yesterday go? How many I produced, how many I didn't produce, and why didn't I? So I can react on that. This is where we are, and we are continuously making this whole thing smarter and smarter.
So Enrique, let me frame in part of the thing that's interesting. So one of the things that Enrique can tell us about, I know one of the times that I looked at it, he's got a list of 250 parts that we can't find manufacturers for. And one of the worst parts about it is we're not getting feedback from the suppliers for. We're not getting feedback from the suppliers. Now, part of that is probably cultural, right? On just knowing how to follow up in the American style of speed of get me maybe you can't give me a quote, but you can give me an estimate, right? A quote means there's legal ramifications. I kind of think I can do the following thing. And, but right now we can't even get estimates for the business division that Enrique runs for what, 250 parts? Tell me, Enrique, tell the rest of the story.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, at least 250 parts. And I mean, I think you sum it up nicely. We send this request for quotes to the suppliers, and they don't answer back, or they answer back 3 or 4 weeks afterwards. So we kind of lose traction from the potential buyer in the US. That's actually the problem that we have.
And so part of that interaction is going to end up being sales wise, like teaching the capacity building for a US style response. And then the other part is exactly what you have, Peter, is like the technology sophistication, right? The thing that's needed for back and forth. That's another thing to be looking at.
And Peter, like Kevin mentioned, I'm in a part of Mexico that's heavily industrialized. There's a lot of automobile parts. So I know there's a lot of concern when you have machine downtime. That's a big concern for companies here. So I would probably suggest just putting that in some kind of US dollars. That's one of the feedbacks that I got from Kevin a long time ago. Companies lose 800 million US dollars every year with machine downtime. Something like that. That kind of puts it in perspective.
Actually, there is a study for that by Deloitte, and they are saying the industry is losing 50 billion US dollar every year because of. So that's a very problem. Just in comparison, I think that was the whole of the revenue in 2018 of the whole of the music industry. So the problem is so.
Yeah, and that's an actual pain. So just putting that in the pitch will probably make a lot of sense to checkbooks that are looking to invest, because that's where the problem is, right?
And do this. So we'll go ahead and what I want to do is I'm going to put the Barrow on the spot, and then I'll ask Celia to come pitch as well. But I want to make sure that y'all go ahead and exchange in the chat behind the scenes. Go ahead and exchange back and forth contact information. And it sounds like that report would be interesting for Enrique to have in his back pocket. And the main thing, that way you're not waiting for me to do the connection. My work here is done. So I'm just trying to make my life easier. I need more time for drinking wine. I mean, come on, guys. This is something I learned from my friends in Mexico. It's like, es importante tener tiempo para la vida. It's important to have time for the life. And tomorrow, I'm not working. I don't know. They worked my ass off for the last few days. So we all make sure you all do that. Cool. Let's see. It looks like that y'all are chatting back and forth. That's perfect. Que perfecto. Okay, good. Cool. Well, Peter, Enrique, and Sultan, we'll make sure we follow up about this. Celia, do you want me to put Barrow on the spot with the video that I prepared, or would you like to go next?
I am okay with going next, right? Perfect.
Why don't we just hit it? Since you're right there, go right ahead. And then Daniel, because I haven't gotten to see you in a while and you're on today, I want you to look up your old pitch. I want you to do it the style that, like, the way I actually like it. And it's importante. It's important. Daniel is he's an entrepreneur originally from San Luis Potosí, Mexico, who I think is living in Brownsville these days,
I'm living in Laredo, Texas.
Laredo, okay, perfecto. Okay, you're going to be on the spot next, sir. Although I'll put Barrow in the gag reel of Barrow on after Celia, just to give him a hard time.
I want to say something to Peter about his pitch. I listened, and I think you have a very creative way to present the innovation or the differentiation of your company. But you have one problem that I had, and Kevin told me a lot of times, pitch again, because in my company, in my first pitch in Austin, I talked about sustainability, innovation, green business, but I didn't say what exactly my company do. So the fact is, right now, I'm pitching to clients about cost reduction, downtimes, and efficiency. And then they can do it in a green and sustainable way. So if you, as Enrique suggested, put in the middle of your pitch the downtimes or the way they will reduce costs, and then you, with the same creative way as you are pitching, I think you will success to your audience understand what your company do. It's only an advice.
Thanks.
Yeah, Daniel's got really interesting biotech. And when I first met him, he talked about the biotech, he talked about sustainability, he talked about green stuff and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, and you talk to investor types, and it's like, what, are you going to give me a hug? And, you know, I kind of like hugs, but most investors don't want a hug. They want to know how you're going to do stuff. Daniel, are you ready to actually just do your pitch real quick? Yeah, and I mean, I haven't seen you in a while, so it's important.
I didn't practice, but right now, if I have to say an elevator,
Celia, thank you for your patience on that. It's give us just a second, because I think it might give the best way to give Peter feedback is for him to see a mirror. And so I'm putting Daniel on the spot so that Daniel, even though he's going to struggle because it's been a while since he's been here, but that's fine. Go ahead, Daniel, rip it.
Okay. In BioCap, we found a way for the companies reduces downtimes, cost, and toxic footprint of their cleaning, maintenance, and operational processes through a new way, through an enzymatic-based way to replace the caustic and acids products. If you want to know how go efficient, clean, and save money at the same time, please contact biocap.bio and you will learn how you can receive these benefits.
Muy bien.
Something like that.
Perfecto. Yeah, muy bien. For doing it cold, that's perfect. Because I mean, the thing that Peter, remember how I talked about sex and violence on Tuesday? Sex and violence. So violence, as it shows up in Daniel's pitch, is he talks about toxic stuff. The specific person that I did that with was the woman who was doing the reduced footprint of pesticides in farms, right? And I said, hey, do you care about the amount of pesticide in your food? Right? You know, and you remember that moment, right? And she was like, she was so practical and peaceful and all that sort of stuff. But immediately we framed in the conversation, you should pay attention because I want less pesticide in my food, don't you? Right. Same thing about Daniel. Daniel's cleaning products are biotechnology based products that he and his business partner developed, or the interesting science they developed in the middle of San Luis Potosí. ¿Dónde está? San Luis Potosí. Where is this at? Right. And the thing that's interesting about it is that discovery is important because I, in the United States, want to have less toxic crap in my food in the food processing plant, right? Same kind of thing. Same kind of thing. Sex and violence. Sex is, I got a lot of traction. Violence is, I really don't like to have toxic crap in my food. So yeah, I don't know. I want you both to it'd be great to make sure that in the Venture Outfitter, whether it's the Slack channel or the WhatsApp, y'all should bounce back and forth some stuff. I know the other thing that's difficult for non-US founders is, you know, in Daniel's case, it's más fácil en español, right? It's easier to get the sentido, the emotion, the feeling of the pitch in the language that you originally spoke. And so, Peter, one of the ways that you might actually do this, and like I said, I wish I understood Hungarian. I tried a little bit before I came. I fail. The only thing I'm actually suggesting is to be thinking about that as well, that y'all might be able to help each other hone the pitch originally in your original language, but then bounce it back and forth on English. Because Daniel, that was really good feedback. Okay, I put Celia on hold a while ago, and Daniel, that was perfect because of what you had. But Celia, just jump in. Celia is actually a Hungarian entrepreneur that happens to be based out of Austin, Texas. So we got the home brand, both on the Texas and the Hungary side. Tell us about your venture, or pitch your venture.
Okay, so my product or solution is called MyClickDoctor and is a healthcare network platform that connects doctors to specialists, doctors to patients, and doctors to the pharma industry. Because who would not want that or wish that their doctors are having access to the most updated medical information? And we know that doctors really are a closed community where information and a quick telephone is time to time difficult. So this solution helps a doctor approach another one about the special disease or about the patient. And at the end of the day, if somebody misses out MyClickDoctor, then he might miss the opportunity of getting the right medical information. Basically, the solution has 3-in-1. So you have doctors and healthcare professionals module where they can consult with each other. It has a telemedicine module where doctors, patient can have the virtual meeting, and you have the doctor and pharma industry module where sales reps can get link or access the doctors. The specialty of MyClickDoctor is in the business model that at the end of the day, doctors get free access to information because pharmaceutical industry is very keen in providing the right information. Meantime, the background is not only a high-tech, user-friendly software, but the knowledge about how to connect and link the medical community or healthcare community to each other, and how to manage a database like such, and what are the legal and ethical boundaries or regulations. So this is MyClickDoctor, which is in this COVID era, a solution to connect the healthcare to each other.
Thank you. So Celia, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Peter and I'm going to ask Daniel. I'm going to put them on the spot first for giving feedback, following the rules of feedback. Now, Daniel, you've been schooled hard on even though it's been months since you've been in part of a feedback group. I just want to remind you of the rules of feedback. And Peter, you've got a sense because you forced me to drink all that wine after that full arduous day of interacting with people. Then I had all my meetings in Austin. Then he's like, you got to come watch this band. And so I'm going to put you on the spot as well. Because that's what he did to me. It's like, did this? So give feedback. Like give feedback about the pitch in the same style that we did on Tuesday.
It was clear, so it was certainly longer than mine. So, but I know what you mean. But probably again, the traction would be if you had something missing. Learning fast, about the feedbacks I have been receiving. Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, I think it was clean and structured. Maybe not that emotional as I am. Otherwise, it was good for me. I understood what you're doing.
Thank you.
Daniel, I know I'm calling on a Mexican, and Mexicans love to love on everybody. They love to love on everybody. And also every once in a while, because we think that there's something bad about feedback. One of the things that I need to remind everybody about feedback is you can save an entrepreneur 6 months of their life based on something you say right now.
Yeah.
No stress, but you can give the feedback that instructs the strategy of the company. So please, Daniel, you're on the spot.
Well, I think she explained well the technology, but maybe you can put in your speech more feelings about to the audience. For example, you are saving time, you are giving safety for not personal contact, you are make the healthcare system more easy and accessible. So if you make feel to your audience or possible clients or stakeholders of your project this human sense about how they can benefit. Maybe the last thing that they will think is about how much it costs. They will say, I need it right now. After you mentioned the COVID issues, and I think it's an important part for trying to take advantage in a good way of this situation. That's my feedback.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you. That's perfect. Enrique, you got to see the old school. School was spelled with a K still. Like Enrique was involved in Venture Forth, what, 7 or 10 or something like that? Like,
yeah,
we have 45 cohorts plus a bunch of the bridge cohorts after that. And Enrique was like in the olden times when Kevin wasn't anywhere near as polished and probably a little bit more brutal. So Enrique.
yeah, you weren't that Mexican back then.
Yeah, from northern Mexico, right? Because all the southern Mexicans were the nice ones. The ones from the norte are like pains in the butts. And so that's kind of where Texas is anyway. So, tell me.
All right. Well, yeah, sure. Well, I think I don't have anything to add besides what Daniel and Peter just said, especially around the emotional side. And once again, same feedback that I gave to Peter, I didn't hear any numbers. And I do know Americans love numbers. They love to hear billions and millions and percentages. And they love to hear that as part of the conversation, because then they can monetize what the actual company could be generating or worth or creating value or revenue or whatever. So I would just add that particular comment, which is actually the same that I gave to Peter. And given the fact that we are all foreign entrepreneurs, keep the conversation. I mean, you can see from my accent that I'm not American. So just keep the conversation as simple as you can. So when you start getting mixed up with weird words, that's when you get your Spanish and your English all mixed up, and it doesn't make sense to them. So we gotta make sure that we stick to words and phrases that are just simple enough for us to say, and obviously simple enough for them to understand. And that's coming from a foreign entrepreneur. I mean, these guys hear pitches from mostly US companies, but when they hear a pitch from a foreign entrepreneur, it's got to be very simple with not catchy words. Otherwise, they won't understand us.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Perfect. All right, great job.
I have a quick one.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to put you guys on first because, he hears a lot of pitches, right? And because he's here, it means he hears a lot of pitches around the world, which is cool. So go ahead. What's your feedback?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard a lot in the health sector, especially telehealth, telemedicine, whatever, it keeps getting called different names. What I was looking for in the pitch, Celia, was why. Like, why would anyone want to become part of what you're creating? And then how does it work? So just something to capture that. Are you disrupting something? Are you disrupting a crowded space? Or are you just a differentiator? Or are you a lower cost? Why you? And I didn't get that from your pitch. I think if you add that in there, with some passion, that you've got something, especially if it's a disruptor, because it is a very crowded space, and it's a very complex space, especially if you're sharing health information, but it's an important one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Beautiful. My feedback is this, and I'm going to do it really kind of quick. And I want to make sure Jello, get Celia's her contact information and send her the feedback, the pitch form. It'll be in the directory we did for the Texas Hungary Venture Bridge, because I don't think she got to see it yet. So Celia, a lot of times what I do, and the reason I was giving Peter kind of a hard time, is I force people to say 30 words. I say 30 words plus a question, y punto, nada más. That means nothing else, right? It means like 30 words, you got to figure out. And what we're trying to drive towards is, what is it you're not going to say?
Okay.
Now, the interesting thing about it is elevator pitches sometimes can be like a statement of strategy in the way that I like to play the game of elevator pitches. because I'm like, like Enrique, since he's, I won't give a hard time to Daniel because he was part of the venture bridge between Mexico and the United States, or Mexico and Austin more recently. But Enrique is from the old school times, right? And like, if Enrique tells me in a very nice Mexican way, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, Enrique. Every once in a while, it sounds kind of like the on Charlie Brown. And he doesn't do this anymore, but I'm getting a hard time because he knows other times I'm speaking about, right? It sounds like the teacher on the Peanuts. And how does she sound? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
ever see that?
Yeah.
How does she sound?
You mean they always complaining?
Yeah, no, she would always be like, wah, 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 wah,
Yeah.
wah. And the problem is the guy with the money, like he's probably made a decision, at least at some level, in the first 2 minutes of the interaction. You have an hour plan for the meeting. I'm not saying that he's this way. I'm saying that a lot of times people do this back and forth. Our hostess is actually checking on us as well. So we're about to get the hook, and it's almost 7 o'clock local time, which is when we're going to cut. But the thing that I actually want to say is the 30 words. What it does is it forces me to tell you what we just got the order for red wine. Winner. Sorry. Sorry to be so informal. But part of actually red wine sometimes helps entrepreneurs, at least
Truly.
this one.
That is.
All right. So back to the thing, that the concept is that by knowing what you're not going to say, it forces you to hone in on the things that are more important. And as you're building a company, especially if it's cross culture and cross country, by the employees and the contractors that are involved in your company, knowing what you're saying and what you're not saying, it will drive strategy all the way down to the individual people. If you look at the back of the business card of TechRanch, I tried to go all the way to the point of it being a motto. On the back of the business card of TechRanch, it says, accelerating entrepreneur success. Well, no, changing the world. So 6 words, changing the world through accelerating entrepreneur success. 7 words, changing the world. So you know that we're here to play a big game. Point, right? Nothing else. By accelerating entrepreneur success, by doing this work with you all. And that's now, I think that 30 words are even better. But one of the things that I know that in my company, people know is changing the world through accelerating entrepreneur success. And if it's not about entrepreneur success, then what the hell are we doing with it? It doesn't make sense. Celia, for you, if I was to play, and now maybe for the audience that I would play to, the words are different than the ones that when you're talking to doctors. But if I was to play in the general public, I'm going to give you an example of what I think your pitch might look like if I was constrained to 30 words. And I don't know enough about your venture yet, but I will learn more as we do this work together to help hone this even more. The way I would say it is, life or death happens over a consult. That is a doctor-to-doctor consult. Life or death, your doctor is going to make a life or death decision about your life or your loved one's life over the person that they have available to consult.
True.
I have a proprietary network and software that enables this. Do you think that you want to have this in your back pocket? So I did the 30 words plus a question. The 30 words don't count towards the question, or the question words don't count towards in the way we play the game. But do you think this is important for you to talk to me about? Forget about my accent, forget about where the software is built, forget about the other stuff. Does your doctor actually have access to the knowledge that he or she needs? You know, and I'm being, this is what I call about sex and violence. I mean, this wasn't sex, this was violence, because someone's life's on the line and you got to decide, is this important or not? Right? I'm playing a game, and you have to think about it from the standpoint of playing a game. It might not be an appropriate game to play with regards to the clients that you're actually talking to use that type of language. But the real clear thing about everyone else in the room that's like, hey, wait, I want to have my doctor have access to expertise. Does that make sense?
It's very good. And I hope I will receive the recording because not every word I remembered, but it's extremely useful.
Yeah, well, so Jello will make sure he's going to post it into the, he typically follows up with posting the YouTube link into the, or what he does is it takes a few days, or a day, usually he gets it done. Like he's going to go to sleep right after this because he's in the Philippines, but it'll take a day in our evening, both in Europe and in the US, he'll take a day to post it with some notes and show notes and stuff like that. And then he'll post it to the WhatsApp channel that you should be on. I don't know if you're on yet. Make sure he has your number because you're in one of our programs now. And then he'll also post it into the Slack channel more generally for everyone else to be able to see as well. So that's the way to take advantage of it. But what we're trying to do is reach up to the prospect, grab them by the throat and shake them.
I have one question to Zoltan. If the specialty of this MyClick Doctor is not the software or not even the community building, but, and it's true, everything that Kevin said, it's true, but the model, who is paying at the end of the day? And having been in the pharmaceutical industry for 30 years, that is really the differentiator, I would say, that I know exactly who would pay the patient's bill to have the right doctor and the right consultation access. How would you call this? A differentiator or?
Well, it's possibly, if I knew more, I could tell you if it was a disruptor or differentiator, but that's in that category.
You heard the distinction, disruptor or differentiator, right? Let's make sure we capture that. No. I'm just saying that the thing I listened when I listened to an expert like this guy is I listened for the distinctions he made. And I'm hoping that Jello might even steal those out of the language and give him attribution in the notes. But earlier you said barrier and a market and barrier.
Yeah, for adoption.
Adoption barrier, right? So that was one set of distinctions. This is how to listen to someone like this. And then this time he said disruption or differentiator, right? That by the way, I'm sitting here in school next to this guy. And I want to make sure you hear those words because that's actually how we pick up this practice even faster. It's great to see Peter. I see Peter writing it down really quick. That's exactly what we need to do. Peter, my request of you is as soon as the video comes in, I want you to reply back to it on either one of the channels and actually reply back with those distinctions and your understanding of the distinctions. Because what it'll do is in this community of practice, like a bunch of people practicing a martial art, we'll all get stronger for it.
And what would you define as the differentiator?
Yeah, let me give you a little bit more, just very little bit, because it's important. I think that you take the time to, fully understand it by looking more into the distinction. But if I'm a category creator, if you're a category creator, you're going to create disruption. If you are coming into a market that's, crowded, right? And you have something just a little bit better, then tell me what it is and why you're going to be able to get that adoption into the marketplace with your differentiated product. What is that differentiated? But if I'm disrupting that market by creating a new category,
gotcha,
right? And I can explain that new category, and then I can explain why people will adopt the new category and how they'll adopt it, and why I am the one that will create that route. And then study a little bit more between the two, because this is really important.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Well, this is perfect. So what we're going to do, since we're already over at 7:02, which is 12:02 Texas time, and I try to keep these to an hour so that we interact as much as we can in the short period of time. Next week is going to be a little bit different in that I'm actually doing a project. The time that our partners in the Czech Republic and Brno scheduled an interaction is right in the middle of this time. So there will be video content that comes from me on reflecting on this time in Budapest. And also there will be a few other things that I'm going to point to, and I'm going to have a co-host in lieu of me being here live. As part of the project that we're launching there is just time critical that I was part of this one time. And I wish I usually get them to avoid, or I get everyone else to avoid this one, like this 1 hour, because I want to get us used to interacting as a group one time a week, right? This is the thing. And so December 9th, I promise I'll be here. I'll be back in Texas. You'll probably be in a t-shirt at the time. You guys will see me on my and Kevin Koym in the wild and all that sort of stuff. But what I want to do is I want to give one other entrepreneur a hard time by putting him on the spot. This is Beryl. Beryl is actually one of the directors over at the BME Z3 incubator, and he was one of the partners that made this process, or BME Z3, Z10, sorry, BME Z10 made this possible. You can tell that I'm dealing with jet lag and I'm tired. So thank you for dealing with my stumbling around. But the thing that I want to do is I put him on the spot earlier today to do his elevator pitch. And I want everyone to see, even from one of the guys that works at the incubator, that you have to practice. Okay, so let's see. Jello put together some of the videos. Let's see what he did. Whenever you're ready. Wait, I should ask real quick. Can you all hear the sound? I'm gonna share again, and this time I'm gonna share with sound because I might have not have clicked the right button.
Yep, this sounds okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I forgot to do that a while ago. Okay, can you see it again?
Yeah.
Yep, but we see your whole screen now.
Okay, let me clean that up a little bit. Keep me honest, Jello. Thank you for that. All right, here we go. We'll start over. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Should I say the name of the company or?
Sure.
At the end, how about I'm saying the name? Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
I'll start over just so I.
Hi, it's Bertalan from Rolling Technologies. We are bringing the okay. What's that? Shit. What was that? E-mobility. Hi, it's Bertalan from Rolling Technologies. We are making the shit. What's that? No. But I wanna say it different. We're making urban mobility more sustainable. Okay, let's do it again. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, it's Bertalan from Rolling Technology. With my company, we are trying to make urban mobility more sustainable for the future. No, but this is way over 30 words. Shit.
You just say making urban mobility
making
sustainable.
Making
More
urban
sustainable.
mobility sustainable by optimizing the operation of.
I might not make you suffer through all 4 minutes or something like that, but let's see if
Hi, it's Bertalan from Rolling Technologies. With my company, we are making urban mobility more sustainable by optimizing the operation costs of electric scooter operator companies and organizing the currently chaotic situation with our charging and docking network. Well, the end was a...
It's perfect. So what's your question? What are you looking for?
Oh, there you go. Okay, one more question. Wait. Okay, well, honestly, what we're looking for now is I think we should record it again because I don't know, like what at the end what like
So the question is
Hi,
important because you got to know what to drive for.
With my company, we are making urban mobility more sustainable by optimizing the charging and operation costs of electric scooter operators and shit. What's that?
Now, some of this is it's not critical. It's not.
Okay,
It's
once
critical
again,
about the birds.
Optimizing and organizing. Okay. Shit. Hi, it's Bertalan from Rolling Technologies. With my company, we are making urban. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Bleep.
Just speak slower.
Yeah, you take it slow.
Okay. Once again. Hi, it's Bertalan from Rolling Technologies. With our company, we are making urban mobility more sustainable by optimizing the operation costs of electric scooter operators and organizing the urban chaos. What's that? With rolling. Oh, this is just one sentence. Yes. With rolling, charging, and with our charging.
One of his business partners in the background.
Stations network. Okay.
We got one more minute. Let's see if we can get him to get it.
Hi, it's Bertalan from Rolling Technologies. We are. Fuck off. I'm getting nervous. Hi, it's Bertalan from Rolling Technologies. With our company, we are trying to make urban mobility more sustainable by optimizing the operation cost of e-scooter. What? Was it good? Yes. Fuck off. I can't believe that. Okay, once again. I feel like an actor now.
This will be his last try.
Yeah. Hi, it's Bertalan from Rolling Technologies. With our company, we are trying to make urban mobility more sustainable by optimizing the operation cost of electric scooter operators and organizing the public chaos with our charging and docking network. Currently, we are looking for strategic partners to make our cities cleaner and greener.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so the whole point is it takes practice, and really what we're driving towards is not, not some kind of marketing spiel, right? It's more of, it's not what you know, it's what you remember, especially if you have access to the right guy, right? You have he in the context of the elevator pitch, right? You step into the elevator with the right guy, the guy who can write the check that actually changes your company's history, whether it's an investor or perhaps some customer, right? In both cases, very important people. And entrepreneurship stressful. We probably didn't, any of us probably didn't sleep the night before because we're trying to figure out how to pay our people or whatever the stress is. It might be something with our family or something like that. That's a natural thing. Part of the reason I want to really push on this idea of really driving this concept about the elevator pitch is not that I'm trying to get you guys to sit there and blah, 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 but more of, if you can do this, first off, you'll get it deeper into your own bones. Second off, you'd get into the bones of your employees even faster, and your friends and family and all that sort of stuff. They'll all be saying your pitch. And then third, when you stand in front of the person that might be nervous to actually stand in front of, well, you have a better chance to actually getting out there and saying, hey, here's my traction and here's what we got. And it's not easy. And I'm not trying to belittle any of that sort of stuff. Part of the thing that I hope that we continue to do around techranch is create this positive training environment where we're helping each other. This is just one move in the training library of stuff that we're doing, right? This is just one move of the elevator pitch. And if we can communicate that, then we have a better chance of keeping the company on strategy. We have a better chance of keeping our own internal sanity. We can watch, okay, did he respond? Oh, wait, he said, oh, wait, are you a disruption or a differentiation? Okay, I got to go do my homework. But at least that way, in a short period of time that I have next to this guy, right? I can immediately respond. If I take the whole time, if I take all of his time telling my pitch really long, then he won't ask me the question, are you disruption or differentiation? He'll be like, hey, that was a nice person. And then he goes to his next meeting, right? That's just something to think about.
Last comment from me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, each of you have a story. Be the storyteller of your story.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That is it. I mean, you guys started this, your businesses for some heart-driven reason. Tell that story. It's the most powerful thing you can do. At the university this afternoon, I spent some time with about 30 students, and one of them actually was, in broken English, and almost like in pain. He talked about how he's got an idea about how he can actually make blind people's lives easier. And we got to process on a little bit. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to find that entrepreneur again. He's a kid in college, but I'm going to find him again because he's really moving the ball forward. And that's the sort of thing. So don't hesitate about that as well. Because that's the one thing that translates across all the countries I've ever seen is the emotion, the story. Your own story is part of that. Okay, I'm going to wrap up because it is time to go drink more wine, or for the rest of y'all to get back to business and stuff like that. The final thing, whoops, I didn't mean to click on that. I meant to click on this. If you're not on our email list, if you're not on our mentor list, and you want to be, if you want to be on our newsletter and email list, our country manager list, any of those type of things, if you want to connect with our social media, this is the one URL to rule them all. We publish a lot of the different things. I mean, you can find them on the website, but I decided that just because it's so difficult, and since a lot of times I personally don't do enough of my own follow-up, which is shame on me, yeah, right? Is you can actually take advantage of that right now from there. And for those of us that, or for those entrepreneurs that were here as part of the Texas-Hungary Venture Bridge, you're going to get invites into a couple different things. We'll have a follow-up email that we'll have out to you by Tuesday of this next week. Know that the next big time on the Venture Outfitter Weekly that I would like to have you participate is December 9th at 11 o'clock Texas time, 6 o'clock Budapest time, and we'll have other entrepreneurs around the world. Earlier, we had Mexico and Nigeria supported, and we got Philippines in the house. We get a lot more exposure on the media that gets posted onto Facebook and LinkedIn as well. Make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn as soon as possible too, and that'll be useful for following up on this. And with that, I always am honored to get to work with entrepreneurs that are driven by visions and vision and values. Let's go change the world for the better together. And with that, we'll call it closed. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.